Hello and welcome to my next episode of the series on the Hangman channel. This episode is one of the most fascinating police interviews that you will see out there on YouTube or around the internet. Now, why is it so fascinating? Well, it's fascinating due to the subject matter of which is being discussed and the personality types of the people within the interview. Now for some context. The subject, whose name is Jeff Sokol, was caught in an operational sting hosted by Chris Hansen on the smash hit series Hansen vs. Predator. Jeff had been chatting online to a police decoy who was acting as a 13-year-old girl that lived in Fairfield, Connecticut. And after so many days chatting online and then by telephone, the trap was set and the fish grabbed that hook. And on the 3rd of October 2015, Jeff Sokol travelled from Boston to Fairfield, which is about 2.5 hours drive, to spend the night with the decoy, but instead runs smack bang into the ever charismatic Chris Hansen. And it was from here that you can see that this wasn't going to be your normal state of affairs when it comes to the responses which are usually given by the predators when explaining their actions for being at the house to visit the person whom they believe is underage. Okay, now what I want to do before we get into Sokol's interview is to show you some of the types of responses that men who are predators to minors give when confronted for the first time after they have been turned up to the bait house to meet a minor. Now, the main questions put to these predators were, why are you here? And why is coming to see a minor okay? These are the standardized questions that were put to these predators by the wonderful Chris Hansen. Now, their answers may vary slightly, but the one underlying belief is that all of the predators acknowledge that what they're doing is wrong.
It was okay as a 27-year-old to come here and meet a 14-year-old with alcohol and condoms?
No.
Then why did you do it?
Because I just thought it was like a good idea.
Then I remind generic white male that Jolanda told him she was 15.
What? No way.
And how old is B?
I don't know. She didn't really tell me.
Somebody who came over here to have sex with a 14-year-old girl.
14-year-old?
You came here.
I didn't come here. I can't pick her up.
To have sex with an underage girl.
We were in a role-playing chat room, dude.
And what role were you playing exactly here?
People play roles, man. Anytime, never asked role-playing. People just...
And drove 4 hours simply to warn our teenager about the dangers of talking to strangers on the internet.
I came to let her know that when you do that, you can be anybody.
So you came to help her out of the goodness of your heart?
No, that sounds stupid, but maybe you could say that.
But when I show up, he explains it's all a big misunderstanding.
What's up?
I'm looking for work and stuff.
Look,
I shut down my computer and stuff, and my computer's messed up.
Your computer, so it just, magically typed itself like a player piano?
No, it's messed up. I'm saying I got a virus in it and stuff.
So what was your intent today? Just to babysit until she's old enough to...
Just more to say hi.
I mean, I could say honestly, yes, it probably would have if she would have, said, hey, let's go for it.
And you don't see anything wrong with that?
Yes, I do see things wrong with it, but I had lack of judgment.
Just whatever you do, do not get into underage people at all. I feel regretful. I feel horrible that I did this.
So they arrested me for possessing child pornography because I had nude pictures of her on my computer. They ended up dropping the charges. And I took them.
You took the pictures of the girl? Mm-hmm. And then you put them on your computer?
On my computer, yeah. They were digital pictures. I'm not really into, pedophilia. This is probably considered that. Just saying that, I shouldn't have done it. I mean, this is something I normally don't go out and do.
Not appropriate, officer.
Why did you do it?
Just me being dumb.
And it's okay for a 30-year-old man to come to a home where a 15-year-old girl is alone. Why?
No, it's not okay.
Why then is it okay for you to come into this home where you thought a girl was alone?
Bad judgment.
At first he tells me the friend he came to see was 18 or older, but then changes his story.
And you thought it was okay for a 31-year-old man to come to a home where a 13-year-old girl was alone because why exactly?
I didn't.
Then why did you do it?
Stupidity.
Stupidity.
Honestly. I'm not saying what I done was right because I know it's wrong. I'm admitting to you that it is wrong.
And so why is it okay for you?
It's not. You're absolutely right. Honestly, it's not.
And help him see that it's not really the shameful situation that it was when I was younger.
So you were here to mentor this boy?
If I could, yeah. If I could, I don't mind helping.
In my 40s, but guarantee that I'm not some old guy wanting to perv a young boy. Well, the reality is that you are older.
Uh-huh.
And what's going on here seems pretty pervy, doesn't it?
It does.
Watching you blank him, meaning the cat. She says, I don't think I want to blank the cat. Would you for me? You're going to make this 14-year-old girl perform a sex act on a cat. So what's going to be happening if I'm not here? You're naked, there's a 14-year-old girl, you're chasing a cat around, you've got Cool Whip, and you want this girl to do some sex act with the cat and then you'll have sex with her. Is that accurate? Yes.
To myself that this would never happen again. This is something, it's not right.
So you're promising me right now that you'll never...
I'm promising myself that I'm not...
Hook up with a 14-year-old girl online, tell her to have sex with the cat, and walk into her house naked.
Not even under 19. I'm promising that to myself, not even to you, this is not good.
And just as I told Chris with Dateline, my intention was to sit right there and wait until her mother come home. I truly don't know why I was so stupid. All the way down here, I was telling myself, yeah, this isn't right. And
no, it's definitely not right. Somebody your age going over to a 13-year-old girl's house to have sex.
It's pretty low.
I'm just trying to make it easy for you guys. Should have never started talking to her.
Why?
Because she was 14.
How'd you know that?
That's what she said, and that's what it says on her profile.
Okay.
I knew I should have started talking to her.
And having her stay on her knees and talking to her as a slave.
Yes. Like I said, I don't know it would have happened because I would probably came over here and I would have probably backed out.
I had no intention of doing anything. I don't have any intention to have any sex with her.
Been replaying this over and over, wishing very much that things had gone differently and that I had made other decisions.
To a boy over the internet that said he was 13 years old and started wanting to have sex with him, and that's why you came over to the house in Murphy today. If there was no intentions of doing anything, why did you go over there? Why did you take beer? Why did you take lubricant? And then why did you write, I want to see you naked? You can suck my Why did you write that?
I don't remember writing that.
You may not remember it, but you wrote it.
Last month.
No. This was yesterday.
Along the way, did you think maybe this is a bad idea?
Yeah, sure.
But you kept driving.
Yeah, like I say, curiosity got the better of me.
Curiosity. What, curiosity to see what it would be like to meet a 14-year-old girl home alone?
Partially. I was stupid. I knew it was a setup.
What made you want to come over here?
Never met anybody before, actually.
Have a hamburger with a 14-year-old child.
Yeah.
Doesn't that sound a little unusual?
Sounds stupid.
And you transmit to Tanya, maybe we should have spent the night together.
I was joking.
And mine would not have been restful and yours would not have been boring? What?
I was joking. I have a tendency to be funny and I make jokes of everything.
Did you intend to have sex with her?
I don't think so, to be honest.
You don't think so?
No.
You drive over to this house, you ring the doorbell, you come inside. Where was this headed?
I'm out of my mind. I just can't believe it.
Well, explain to me. Help me to understand.
I can't, because there was no reason. I can't give you any.
You ever had sex with underage?
Never. Ever. I have no doubt it wouldn't have happened then either.
Why's that?
Because I know me. I almost walked out the moment I walked in, although...
But you did walk in.
Yes, I did.
I thought this was a joke.
You thought, what was a joke?
No, I should have known better.
What did you think it was?
Truly a setup.
And why would somebody try to do a setup like this?
To catch people that shouldn't be talking to teenagers.
People like you.
Definitely.
As a parent, would you be okay with a 54-year-old man coming to visit a 13-year-old kid?
Of course not. I honestly didn't think he was 13, and I thought about driving away when I saw him at the door. Probably I was thinking the part of me that's Christian was going to talk him out of it.
So what part of the Bible tells you to say all this kind of stuff here in the chat? I'd love to suck, play and suck, play with,
like I
and
said,
lick nipples and lick and and you? Where is that in the Bible? Explain that to me.
There's a human part.
Is that
of
the
me
Old
that
Testament or the
sins.
New Testament?
Neither. I am truly sorry. And I'm not going to be in that chat room anymore. I have learned my lesson. In the conversation, I had a gut feeling it was wrong, but I kept going with it, thinking it was a lie.
A girl who said she was 13. She gave you directions to come over here.
Did she say I was 13?
She said she was 13.
Who was this? I don't know. I chat with a lot of people online. I will never say to someone like that. Never.
It will be nice. I think you will love it.
Never. Never, ever. You know, I'm an Egyptian, I'm Muslim, I don't do this stuff.
We'll lick you all over.
It's not me.
How old is Allie?
She said she'd be 15 going, but I didn't know if it was true or what.
What did she tell you online?
She didn't really say her age.
What age was on the profile?
14.
So when you looked at the profile, you saw that she was 14 years old?
Yes.
So you knew that going in?
Well, I don't know for sure.
Was there any other reason to suggest that she wasn't 14?
No.
Do you think it's appropriate for somebody your age to come visit a 14-year-old girl home alone?
No, I do not. But she is the one that invited me.
Does that make it right?
That does not make it right, no.
Tells the investigator he doesn't remember how old the decoy said she was.
It says right here that you're hot for 13. She told you she was 13.
I chat with, anybody.
Do you send just anybody pictures?
Yeah, pretty much.
And of you masturbating?
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Did you think that you were going to have sex with her tonight?
I thought at first, but actually this past hour that I've been driving around, I've, like I said, it's been no in my head.
And when you were driving around and saying no in your head, what was that reason for?
Age. Felt
because
comfortable.
Because
she was 14. Didn't feel comfortable just doing that to that age.
So who were you here to see?
Okay, she asked me to come.
She did?
Yes, she did. I did not. I told her it's not appropriate.
It's not appropriate.
But she's too young.
How old is she exactly?
She said she was 13.
And how old are you?
22.
So you knew it wasn't a good thing to do.
Yeah, it was.
But you did it anyway.
But she started it.
So it's the 13-year-old girl's fault, not the 22-year-old man. You're too young, babe. You shouldn't be out here. A lot of perverts in here. What did you mean by that?
The ones people that want to have sex with.
People like yourself.
No, I don't want to have sex with her.
You don't want to have sex with her? No. Did you bring condoms?
Yes.
Yes. So why would you bring condoms and lotion if you were just here to talk with the girl?
Well, she said we're going to have sex.
She said?
Yes. Well, she lured me, I would say that.
Run that by me again.
She lured me,
You drove from West Palm Beach up here 3.5 to 4 hours, got chocolates, flowers, and lotion and condoms because you were going to come up to have sex with her. Is that pretty accurate?
That's right.
All right.
Tell me what's going on.
Nothing. I was just gonna...
Just gonna what?
Talk to the kid.
What were you gonna talk about?
I don't know. Baseball.
Now, how old did this boy say he was online?
14.
And you thought it was okay at 39 to come over here and see a 14-year-old boy?
Wow. Well, I was just gonna hang out with him.
Just hang out.
I wasn't gonna do anything with him.
Okay. How long did it take before you found out that he was 14 or 15?
He told me right away.
Told you right away. Did that bother you?
Yeah, it did.
It did? Okay.
Yeah.
But still, you came here and you planned to have sex with him?
I guess. Honestly, I was just really turned on, and I didn't know what I was going to do. I probably, that's what I was thinking, I guess. I don't know what I was going to do.
How old is Jenna?
I'm not sure, actually.
What's a 24-year-old doing looking to be with a 13-year-old?
I'm not looking to be with her. We were just talking and stuff.
You guys talked and made arrangements for you to come here and have sex together.
It wasn't sex.
Rufino says it's all a misunderstanding.
Yeah, you said,
Right.
you were going to do some sexual things,
Okay,
fingering.
I didn't know what you meant by that.
Yeah, like fingering and stuff like that. So that's what you came to do. Okay.
Yes. I thought you were talking about intercourse.
Hey, how are you? Good. Can I talk to you for a minute?
Sure.
What you up to today?
Nothing.
Nothing? What are you here for?
Just come to meet her. I talked to her online.
Who is she?
Allie?
Allie? And how old is Allie?
She said she was 14.
14. And how old are you?
33.
33. And what's a 33-year-old man coming to meet a 14-year-old girl for?
Just to say hi, that's all.
Just to say hi.
I had no intentions, no nothing.
No intentions, no nothing. So you drove 60 miles to see a 14-year-old girl?
Just to say hi.
Just to say hi.
I wasn't planning on doing anything. Absolutely not.
Do you think that what you said to her was appropriate?
At times, no.
And why did you do it?
Just bored.
Is that cause to get me arrested?
Yeah, yes. It's called solicitation of a minor over the internet.
Now, what's also interesting here is that Chris Hansen asked the question, what do they think should happen to them for a punishment? And here you'll see that only one of them gets it right.
What do you think should happen to you?
You really don't know.
Well, what do you think should happen to you, Eric?
Just go home and learn from this.
What do you think should happen to you, Lee?
Honestly, I'd like to be able to just go back to work. And
Just go back to work. Just walk, get up and grab a cookie and walk on out of here.
I'm not saying what I done was right because I know it's wrong.
What do you think should happen to you, Antonio?
Down should get the death penalty, sir.
So now you have a fair understanding of the responses and mindsets of the general predator. The excuses and reasons that they give are all too common. What we see is them recognizing that their actions are seen by the public to be so wrong and giving apologies for these actions in some way that they believe that will lessen the need for the punishment that they so deserve. And this is what makes a SOKOL interview legendary, because here we have a predator who believes that his actions do not constitute an immoral behavior, that a sexual relationship with a minor should be acceptable. And that is what makes this interview so compelling, is that he speaks the truth in comparison to every other predator on all of the other Hansen shows. We get to see what a predator without the shades on looks like and thinks like, and the true problem that we as a society have to fix. That many grown men believe that there is nothing immoral or unethical in having sexual intercourse with minors, and that the only reason why they are not sexually assaulting girls over the age of puberty is the law. This mindset I'll show you now, so as you can see what it is that SOKOL believes before we hit the main police interview. And remember, this is what a lot of mature male adults believe. I call it the Jeff SOKOL mindset.
And what are you doing here tonight, Jeff?
Hanging out.
Hanging out with whom?
With her.
I want to know a little bit more about you first. Well, what did you expect to happen here tonight, Jeff?
Didn't have any expectations.
No expectations whatsoever?
No.
So you drove 2.5 hours?
Sure did.
From Boston to come here to meet a young girl?
I haven't done anything wrong. Coming to meet somebody? What's wrong? What is that against
Coming
the law?
to meet a young girl?
Yeah, is that against the law?
It is after this chat.
How? Is that against the law to
have sex with a 13-year-old girl when you're 44? Yes, it's against the law.
To meet a girl. That's all I've done.
It's not normal for a 44-year-old guy to drive 2.5 hours to hang out with a 13-year-old girl.
I wanted to hang out, see how she was, see if
a 13-year-old girl. What it sounds like here is you're grooming her, testing her to make sure it would be okay if you had sex with her, so no one would find out.
To be honest with you, like I said, when I was on the way down,
right,
I was thinking about the whole thing, and even before I left,
right,
I was thinking I'm not going to have sex with her unless it's legal. And I'm not going to have sex with her unless it's legal.
You love her?
No.
You want to have sex with her?
I don't know.
You want to marry her? What do you mean you don't know she's 13?
I don't know. I was just throwing things out, like, just in case maybe I did like her. Maybe it was,
So then you'd marry a 13-year-old girl because she's really cool and you could have sex.
After a while, if it worked out, yeah.
So you're cool with all this? You just think this is just fine?
Do I seem like a dishonest, dirty person? I mean, do I seem like it to you?
This chat seems like it. It seems like someone who at 44 years old.
Chat is chat.
Chat is chat, but showing up is showing up. And guess what, Jeff? You showed up. At a home where you knew a 13-year-old girl would be alone after a sexually charged conversation online. But this somebody is not an adult, Jeff. She's 13.
And I'm not going to have sex with her unless it's legal.
So, SOKOL's time in interrogation by the best guerrilla journalist of all time, Chris Hansen, lets you see the SOKOL mindset. Before we dive into the interview, a little about the interviewing officer. His name is Detective Kelly of the Fairfield, Connecticut Police Sex Crimes Unit. He's had 25 years on the force and is an experienced interrogator. Now, the primary focus of all police officers that are having an interrogation is to get an admission of guilt by the offender. But this interrogation starts off like that, but then turns the interrogation into an interview, and then from there into a tutorial in Ethics 101. So, let the schooling begin.
This is fucking awful and disgusting, actually.
These yours, Mike?
Yes.
You know nothing?
Thank you, sir.
You all set?
Appreciate it, Scott.
Calling when you.
Cool.
I'll be in, where you can.
Okay. First thing I need to do, I'm Detective Kelly, obviously with the Fairfield, Connecticut Police. Just going over your rights with you. You're willing to speak with me about what happened tonight? Okay. And we could probably just kind of start with what happened this evening. I looked at some of the texts. There's several pages. The text between you and the young female. Can you just tell me what kind of happened from your standpoint tonight? You're in, I assume, at home in Brooklyn, and you're corresponding with this younger girl.
Yeah, I was just looking to meet her, and I know you're not going to believe me, but I honestly was not planning on having sex with her. I know the texts talk about that, but it's talk. I mean, I wasn't planning on having sex with her unless it was right and legal to do it. I don't know if I would have or not either, but I was not going to do it.
What do you mean by right and legal to do?
No, I mean, if I she seemed like somebody, that was mature and, somebody that, that would be fun to hang out with. And so I wanted to meet her and find out if she was what I thought she was.
So how long had you been corresponding with her?
Like 3 weeks, yeah.
And how'd you meet her?
A chat site.
What was that called?
Wire Club.
Wire Club? Is that, I don't know, what is that? Is it
It's
kind of a hookup site or something?
No, it's like chat rooms, but again, I don't know if it's a hookup site because there's people there that are all over the world.
Have you talked to people before? Girls, guys, whatever?
Yeah.
On that particular site?
Yeah.
Have you talked to younger girls before? Today? Or in the last couple of weeks, rather?
Not that I know of.
And what was the interest in this particular girl? Let let me back up a second. Are you married?
No.
Have you been married?
Yeah.
Divorced?
Yeah.
How long?
Like 10
years
10,
or
10,
more?
11 years, yeah.
Any kids?
No.
What was the reason for the dissolution of the marriage? Anything major issue with the ex-wife?
No.
Or she with you?
No, it was just a mutual breakup.
And how about dating and things since then? Do you have relationships? Have you had any recently?
Yeah, I mean, a few here and there, yeah.
What was the last one?
I mean, I had a short one over the summer, a couple months.
How old was she?
41.
Adult woman.
Yeah.
Right. Have you, met or chatted with or visited younger girls before?
Younger, yes, but I mean...
What's your, I don't know, younger than me is probably in their middle 20s. From my standpoint, I'm a little bit older than you, but what's younger to you?
I mean, yeah, I've dated girls in their 30s and 20s.
And I mean, this wasn't, I'm sure, the first time you met a girl who was purportedly 12 or so years old, right?
What would you say?
I said, I'm sure this isn't the first time you either chatted with or met with a girl who was, supposedly 12 years old.
I believe it was the first time that I know of.
It was? Is that what you're saying? It was the first time? I mean, I don't know. You may have an issue or a certain fetish or attraction to younger girls. You probably do.
Yeah, I've never gone to meet a girl that was a teenager.
Never. And why tonight? Just Saturday night. It's got it from basically the Boston area, right?
I just had nothing to do. I figured we'd just hang out, and I was just gonna drive home later tonight.
You talked. I know in the text there was some mention of a marriage contract. I don't know if it's a religious thing or something else, but what's the deal with the marriage certificate? What was that whole conversation? You have a marriage agreement or a contract you talked about?
I know I was joking at one time when I said, "Is it in the contract?" I was joking.
Was there a mention of bringing some type? Maybe it was in jest, but you mentioned bringing some type of marriage contract or something like that.
No, it wasn't. No, bringing something. No.
Did you mention having her sign it, or you signing it, or both of you signing it? I mean, I can go get the paperwork. Unfortunately it's thick, but there's some conversation about that. I just want to know.
Yeah, there was conversation. There was conversation about that. I was just explaining to her that people could get married by just signing a contract. Signing marriage documents.
So, but you're talking about a 12-year-old girl, right? That's kind of.
Yeah.
I think you could probably even
14, but yeah, she said she was 14. But okay.
She was 14?
I know, it's young.
So maybe I should get some of the texts so we're both clear about what age she said she was.
She wasn't 12.
No?
No.
And 14 is that big of a difference anyways? You're 44?
Different. It's a difference to me.
Because neither are legal, you know that.
Yeah,
right? The age of consent is 16, which is, in my mind, too young also, but he thought she might be 14.
Yeah.
Oh. So these are obviously a copy of some of the text between the two of you. This, you said you met her, what, give or take 3 weeks ago?
I think so.
You're talking about, blowjobs and oral sex and. I'm just tell me what's going on in your life that we even have you here going down this road. Maybe you've always lived like this. I don't know, but it's of concern, obviously, to everybody. 44-year-old guy, and you're talking about a 12-year-old girl, and in your mind, maybe she was 14, but it's certainly illegal and horrible in most people's eyes, right?
And I said that. You could probably read that.
And you drive from 2.5 hours away to see this girl.
I didn't think it was against the law to meet with somebody and just hang out and talk to them.
But you probably, I don't know.
Is it? Just like hang out with somebody?
To hang out?
If I had sex with her, yeah, that would be against the law. But they didn't do
so
that.
let's just take a step back. So let's just say you never got divorced from your wife, and you had a daughter. You said it was 10 years ago, right? Give or take, you got divorced. So let's just say, as a result of that marriage, you had a daughter or a son who was 10, 12, 13 years old, and it's Friday night, and you and your wife, hey, honey, hey, whatever your daughter's name is, Caitlin, we're going to run out to dinner and stay out a little bit late. You can stay at home, and you come to find out, they walk in, there's a 44-year-old guy from, 200 miles or 100 and something miles away. Is everybody cool with that? You're cool with that?
Well, obviously, at first, no.
At first?
Yeah, when they first walk in, it's not going to be cool. But if it was somebody like me, I don't think there's a threat.
But how do they know what your intention is? You're talking about blowjobs and pics.
Yeah, they
and
don't.
Other issues. You're not talking about maybe some common interest of music or sports, which is also. I mean, the whole thing would be weird. I think just what everybody would think. I think you actually would too. It's unhealthy and strange. A 44-year-old guy, what's he got in touch with, in common with a 12 or 14-year-old girl? And why, if you lived in a big metropolitan area where you drive whatever the distance was, 2 hours away on a Saturday night.
Isn't that all speculation?
To me,
I mean, it's
what's the speculation? I'm looking at this.
You're speculating that I was going to have sex with her tonight.
Because that's what you said.
I didn't say that.
You didn't say that? Well, tell me what you said.
Well, we talked about having sex, but that doesn't mean...
Isn't that strange?
It doesn't mean I was going to. Tonight.
Well, yeah, tonight, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week.
Maybe when she's 16.
But where's that in the conversation?
I don't know, it might be.
Did you mention that?
It might be in there. I mean, I mentioned that I was looking. I looked into like the laws and stuff about minors. I was looking into those.
Why would you do that?
No, because I was going to meet a minor, and to hang out with them.
So you knew there was an issue.
Otherwise,
you wouldn't research it.
Yeah, but there's an issue if you do this and this and this. But because, and this is just I was looking, I was just like looking down the road, like let's say I did like her and she liked me, why not? I mean,
but this is somebody you've never met before.
I know. I was just thinking out loud, looking at the big picture. That's all. Doesn't mean I was going to like do what I was going. What I was.
Is that like your lack of a better description, like your cup of tea? Like you want some very young, girlfriend or bride. It sounds like some fantasy you have, which is fine if that's what your fantasy is. I just want to know where you're coming from.
I took a liking particularly to her, and she happened to be.
This is through all, like, you know, chatting or texting, right?
Exactly.
Somebody you never even met.
Correct.
So for the sake of talking, it could have been, it wasn't, but it could have been me posing as this girl. You wouldn't know who you're talking
Could have
about.
been, yeah. Could have been.
It's not like you saw her or spent time with her.
Well, that's why I came down, is to see if I had a connection with her. If you, what was your name again?
It's Detective Kelly.
If you read all the text, I don't know if you read all of it.
I did not, and I probably can't digest them all right now.
Sure.
But I'm starting to try to look here.
I'm sure.
Good.
But if you read a lot of it, the exchanges between me and her, I was always aware and scared of any consequences if I was to do something wrong. Like if I was to have sex with her, and to be honest, yeah, of course, you know, like, from what I saw, she's, you know, beautiful and everything.
Beautiful. This is the statement made by Jeff, which has Detective Kelly change the primary focus of the interview. That this is the first time Jeff actually puts forward to Kelly the foundation of the SOKOL Mindset. Now, there are 2 points here for the SOKOL Mindset. The first one is that Jeff alludes to Detective Kelly that he finds minors attractive in a sexual way. And the second is that having this feeling towards sexualizing minors isn't a mental, ethical, or moral problem, but an acceptable way in which to view minors. Now, that for most of us, including Detective Kelly, would be a repugnant thought. And as Detective Kelly tries to explain that having even the thought of finding minors attractive is wrong. Now, the problem here is that for Jeff to accept that it's wrong to think of minors in a sexual way, he also must accept that the way in which he thinks is wrong. And that means he has to admit that he is broken, and someone with SOKOL's mindset just could not accept that. Now, if someone doesn't view an action or a thought as morally or ethically wrong, then it is almost impossible to correct that problem, as you cannot make or force someone to have a moral, as morals are an intrinsic value, and it is that you either have and hold that value, or you've just never had that value in the first place.
Something like that, because you're afraid of the kind, and you didn't go when the parents were home. If it's wonderful, then yeah, if your parents are home, that's great. I'd love to meet them. No, your parents aren't home, right? Kind of thing. They're away. They're not coming home. Whatever. You with me?
Yeah, I'm with you. Yes.
And I think this probably goes back a long time. This did not happen overnight. I'm a little bit older than you. You know, whatever my, you know, makeup is physiologically and emotionally and every other way, it didn't start last week. So you probably had these fantasies, desires, interests, probably your whole life, actually, or until you became an adolescent or something.
Fantasies about what?
I'm assuming younger women. And maybe as you got older, like you wanted to stay in that realm, like, oh, the younger girls, I like them better for whatever reason. You would have to tell me what the attraction is.
It's never happened before.
Well, we're talking like 12 years old. It's like 6th, 7th grade. You know what I mean? It's a young human being.
I keep saying 12.
Well, you want me to use your term and say 14?
I mean, I know they're both young, but it's a little bit, different.
Is it being a teenager? Is that the big hump that you need to hear? Like, okay, she's a teenager. She's 13, she's not 12. She's 14, she's not 12.
That's 2 years older.
Yeah, still 2 years under the age of majority, right? Certainly not, worldly or mature enough to consent to anything. Right? Doesn't have the legal right to do it, never mind Because why? Because they're very young, so they need to be protected.
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
Why, if you thought I came down there to have sex, why didn't you wait and see if that happened?
Why would I want to put that girl that was in the house through any kind of a horrible experience that could get really out of hand really quickly?
Okay, I get
and
you.
no offense.
I got you, buddy.
There was like
I don't mean having
several cops there and other able-bodied guys.
Right.
You'd be in probably some kind of pain at the end of it, because if you got maybe your clothes off and you're trying to grab her, we come in not knowing what you're capable of.
I know.
Why not do it like as much as we can as a gentleman? You're seated. Chris Hansen speaks to you. You're free to go. You know, you were compliant. We were, didn't throw you on the ground or anything. We handcuffed you. We brought you in. You know what I mean? Why would you want to take it to another level where it's horrible? And she has to go through that, several times, because there's several different guys like yourself that are coming to meet her? Would you want to do that to anybody? Like, honestly?
No.
Put her, even the hug. As soon as you got there, you're trying to hug a girl that you've never met.
Well, it's natural.
Well, maybe it is. I mean, I understand from your standpoint you probably want to, but from her standpoint you're a total stranger, and she's probably a little freaked out by it.
She was cool with everything. I just wanted to hang out and, have pizza. I mean, I honestly, that's why I was there. I just,
you need to.
My case, okay, for this is obviously there's a lot of text there,
yeah.
But I was trying to do things or, make it so I wasn't breaking the law. If I decided at some point that I wanted to, have any relations with her, I was trying to make sure that it was legal. Otherwise, I wasn't going to do anything.
I'll explain that a little bit.
If I came down and I liked her, she liked me, and
right.
She was cool, and I didn't feel like she was, too immature or too young or too, the same. If I felt like I was on the same, level as her, like, emotionally and whatnot. I mean, I wanted to, I didn't want to do anything that was breaking the law. So that's why I researched that stuff. I would never, that's like ridiculous that you guys thought that I would bring a contract down.
Well, we were going, I believe, through your
You're interpreting.
I don't know.
You're interpreting it, but
maybe we are. I don't know, but I also see that you're mentioning that a 44-year-old guy shouldn't be talking to a 13-year-old girl like this.
Right, and so I felt guilty about it.
Your language, not mine.
I felt guilty about it, yeah.
And you think you might be on the same wavelength as her?
There's plenty of, young people I see on TV that are pretty smart, pretty mature. 13. They're out there, yeah.
No, there might be, I don't know, there could be a couple out there, I think. Either they could be mature, but maybe they look like a little kid, or they could look older, but they're very immature. There's a reason these laws are in place, right? I mean, to protect people.
Right, and I said that to her.
Meaning what? I'm still, you kind of expounded on it before, but you're like, I want to do things with her, so in case I did have feelings for her and I liked her, like it would be legal. I don't know what that means. She's still, let's just say 13, because you mentioned 13 right here. So how does that still make it legal?
I don't know. She said she was turning 14, but okay. How does it make what legal?
You just said that. How would it make it okay if you're going to do things with her and she's 13 and you ultimately had relations with her, intercourse? How does it make it legal?
It wouldn't unless her mom consented to marriage.
Right, now let's take a quick look at what Jeff refers to when he says that he would only have sex if it was legal. And for it to be legal, he would have to get the mother's consent for the girl under the age of 16 to be married. And the thing is, under Connecticut law, that's actually true. So he actually did do some research, but he didn't do enough, because If he had done enough, then he'd also know that he also needs a court officer, or aka a judge, to also consent to that marriage for it to be legal, for him to be exempt from being a rapist.
You're gonna marry a 13-year-old girl with her mother's permission.
Maybe when she's 16, I would do that. Why is that like so hard to believe?
Why is it hard to believe?
Yeah, that can happen.
I can't say I've even ever heard of it. Actually,
if I wanted to like,
maybe in other countries it happens.
Wanted to not break the law, that's what I would have to do.
You would marry her now. You're 44. She's 13.
Yeah, I haven't broken the law. I mean, so that's the thing. It's all like you're speculating what I was going to do based on conversations.
You also drove here. You didn't just like have chats that you're bad enough.
So what?
You actually drove 2 hours. You're like basically my age. You drove 2 hours to meet a girl. Most guys.
Right, you're putting it all together, right? Most guys would.
Most guys younger than us, our age, older than us, if given the opportunity,
right,
they might get in the car on a Saturday night and drive 2 hours if they think they're going to find, something that feels good at the end of the rainbow. But are they just going to do it to maybe meet somebody?
Most guys? So you're saying most guys, so it's like...
You're driving from Boston.
You're saying most guys.
Right.
That's not me.
What are you? Tell me who you are. Because based on the text and the behavior you exhibited, I'd say you fit right in there. You just happen to like them much younger than what's normal.
Maybe.
Or illegal.
Maybe I enjoy just, talking about it. I don't know. I mean...
with a 12 or 13-year-old girl. That's a problem. I don't know you. I never saw you before in my life. That's a major league problem.
Didn't seem like it.
Didn't seem like what?
Just seemed more mature than that. More than,
Compared to what? Like a 28-year-old woman? Like a 22-year-old girl? You're talking about a 12 or 13-year-old girl. And she's acting like she's 18? Yeah, so what? She still tells you she's 13 years old. You're 44. I mean, seriously, that's a major league problem.
According to the law, it is.
But according to what, you, it's not?
In my head.
In your head?
Knowing what I was there for. Knowing that I was not dangerous, that I was not a threat to her, that I was not planning on having sex.
Not planning on having sex? What if you just happen to meet a girl that is like, you know what, for whatever reason, she's only 12 or 13, but man, she's a pistol, and she's all over you. What are you going to do, push her away?
Yeah, if I know I can go to jail, I would.
You would?
Oh, yes.
And why did you bring the Cialis?
You know what, that was in my car.
I don't care where it was. It was in your pocket last time.
Yeah, I didn't want to leave it in the car.
And I said, what's in here? Just I believe it said like CVS, either ibuprofen or something like that. You're like, yeah, that's all it is. And then we researched it. It's just
right. Sorry, I just.
So you're not even. Like, why don't you tell me the truth?
I just got handcuffed. I just got handcuffed. I don't even remember answering you, to be honest with you. But
no big deal. But it's not like you had some other medicine, like I don't even pick out of the top of my head, that's like completely unrelated to any kind of sexual interlude. This is like right up that alley, right? It's correct.
It's something.
So the chat, the drive, the Cialis,
the
fact that for some reason you think that this is like some innocent meeting between a mature 12-year-old and you.
I carry the Cialis around. I just do. And, sometimes I leave it in my car, and I just didn't want to leave it in the car.
Doesn't it belong in a prescription bottle?
No.
It doesn't?
No, that's smaller. I usually carry. I have other pills, too, that I put in there.
All right. You don't see a problem with any of this, like, honestly.
I didn't say that.
Well, so you see a problem with it?
I see a potential problem.
Do you have, like, nieces, nephews, whoever in your life, in your family?
Yep.
I don't know their ages, but maybe some are around her age.
honestly, Detective, I did not think I was breaking the law to come meet a girl. I honestly didn't. If you read the whole text, read everything, you can see how scared I was to meet her. Just
listen.
Just scared of the whole situation.
You're scared of her for basically one reason, and the reason is that your clear intention was to have sex with her. Because if it truly was just to meet somebody, you wouldn't even be nervous about it. You'd be like, screw it. I have no interest in having sex with this girl.
It's a situation.
Chatting. My right hand to God, and I'll swear to the parents, and they could be home for that matter. I'd love to meet them too, and my intentions are pure. Your intentions were not pure. That's why you had the reservations you had, right?
It was a new situation too, and never done it before. So yeah.
But you're 44, and she's
12,
13.
That there's all these laws about
Thank God there are, right?
About minors.
What if there weren't?
Listen, I know what I'm capable of.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know you think that I'm bullshitting you.
No, you're trying to like kind of massage the corners, but do I think you're realizing and being honest with yourself and with me about what you did? No, I don't actually.
I wasn't planning on having sex with her unless it was bright and legal to do it.